I want to talk about how to handle that guy in your church.
But first, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure
download
you,
our app.
Make sure you
put in all your impertinent.
or visit our website.
subscribe and like to the podcast wherever you listen to it. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and do all that cool stuff. Go ahead and just hit that like button, caress that bell for me. And
Caress.
if you're listening to
Love
the
That
audio
might be our new
podcast,
thing.
if you're listening to the audio podcast, on Apple, Spotify, my personal favorite, Overcast, go ahead and take a minute and give us a 5-star review. We don't accept anything less than 5 stars. I'm going to steal that from my friend Dave Tobias.
Oh, yeah.
Shouts out, Dave. We don't take anything less than 5 stars because we know you love this.
I'll delete anything under a
thank you very
5-star
much.
review.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
You can pin it. Hey, and if you comment and leave us your information, we will mail you a bulletin.
and a CD or
And a
cassette
CD or a
tape.
cassette
And
tape
or cassette.
of any service of your choice.
We're working on Betamax right now.
Oh, perfect.
So thank you for doing that.
Do we have a trivia question? Jordan, did you come up with one?
Yeah, what's our trivia question for this week, Jordan? For this episode.
I had a really lame one.
No, do it.
Don't just do it.
Just do it. It's not tech related.
This is not tech related. Yeah, it's kind of scientific. But
Technically,
when birds are flying south or north or whatever, why is one line longer than the other? Or one side of the V longer than the other?
All right, don't answer. Don't answer.
Yeah, think about it.
Oh.
Think about it.
Okay.
We'll share the answer here at the
Caleb,
end.
you were like about to shout out the answer.
I was ready to go.
I could see it in your eyes.
he's a major fowl hunter, so
Yep.
So how to handle that guy?
who are we a bunch
And I'm
of
not
those
talking
guys
about
sitting
that
here?
guy.
Yeah. Should we give him a name or her a name or
No.
like a
I
Karen?
think that
Them?
I think that guy
Them?
like
No.
That guy?
Mainly two. There's two of that they that we are talking about. I want to be inclusive. That they. One is the persons who like don't listen to maybe somebody that's on their staff, maybe like kind of qualified, who's in a position. Let's say you are the audio guy, you're the lighting guy, whatever. You're asking for new gear that you think like, hey, I've got this need, whatever. And then you bring that to your pastor or whoever this person is, and they then turn around and like go to an outside source, another tech company, another church, maybe another pastor, a deacon, something, and just like somebody, an outside source who's not there really to know exactly what's going on in your situation. And just doesn't listen to anything that you said and only listen like, well, they said that they don't use this, they don't blah, blah, blah. And then the flip side of that, how do you work with someone who like, you're a tech person, you're like, hey, we need a new sound system, or I think we need to do something about our lights, but we don't really know, like, I don't really know. And nobody wants to talk to anybody on the outside. And I think we brought this up on the last episode or 2 episodes ago of just like that feeling that churches have that bad taste in their mouth of being burned by tech companies in the past. I think that's maybe where this question came from, if I remember right. It was just like, how do you work with somebody in your congregation that doesn't see the need to go outside of your church for technical expertise, right?
Yeah.
So
I think
how do you
on
deal
the-
with either side of that?
Yeah, I think on the first one, I've experienced that a lot where like I've had a client where they go, I've been saying this for years that we need to do this. And then like my pastor goes to a conference and hears someone say it. And then he comes back with this great idea that we need to do this. And I'm like, bro, I've been saying this for 3 years, like type thing. You're never going to get over that. That's always going to be a thing.
Nope, I'm with you.
It was said of
with you.
Christ, right? A prophet is not without honor except in his own home. So, like, here you are in your home church. Not that all tech people are prophets, but I'm just saying.
But some of you are.
Some of you are. And, I don't know your particular giftings, but
Maybe I should say yes.
Yep.
But I mean, how do you deal with that? I mean, I think is the question, right?
Yeah,
because
like-
it's going to happen, at some point in time. One of those things.
It comes with the familiarity. Because I've watched it happen where coming in and being a new guy and them taking every suggestion, and then you kind of hit a certain gear point, and all of a sudden they don't take your advice, and then the next guy, they take all of that person's advice, or they only take the outside person's advice. And is that a healthy thing? No, it absolutely is not. But it is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of human
Yeah.
a little bit. Like
It is.
it's like, yeah, what you're saying, like you can be the new person and they're taking all of your thing, and then there's new shiny whatever. There's the next person who's got ideas,
Yeah.
and like,
Because
like,
how would you
we
know
already know
anything
how you
outside
think,
of what
right?
you've told us now? Because you've been here.
right,
You know, well,
Yeah.
especially in the church world, because it can be and is in a lot of times is a bubble. Let's just be honest about
Yeah.
it. Okay.
100%.
It's a bit of a bubble. And so once you've come in and you've been a professional church worker, I guess you want to call it that, you know, you've been there long enough. It's like, okay, we need updates on something tech related, because that's the easiest thing for me to relate to, you know, video equipment or something of that nature. And we can't really take this guy's word for it, because now he's been in the bubble for enough years. How does he even know what's new and what's out there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, these days it's kind of hard to say how could somebody not know, because like YouTube, right?
Yeah.
YouTube and research. I know all of us here at this table are always keeping up on stuff,
Excuse me.
but that's just not how it's viewed. You know, like, no, you've been in here, you're too close to us. I've heard you joke about stuff before. I can't really take you seriously. I got to ask somebody else.
Yeah,
But that really all comes down to like just kind of like trust and like you said, that building that relationship. I mean, really, like, you know, if you're listening to this and you work for a church and you're not having a serious dialogue about where your systems are, how you're doing just work wise with your either senior leadership or your direct manager or something like that, like, you need to be having that. You need to put it on a calendar.
yeah.
Yeah.
They need to
Amen.
know, like, you know, hey, in 5 years we need a new PA. They're not going to come off that money in 5 months. That's a longer conversation. Hey, we need to start shopping this around. We need to start talking to AVL installers.
That's your like attrition calendar, right? Like it's, hey, this is going to go bad in X amount of years. Like
I would encourage
a
people.
lifespan.
Yeah, I mean, because the other thing too is like, all right, hey, we need a new PA. We need a new LED wall. Guess what? The pastors also aware, like, hey, we need a new roof. We need a new parking lot. Like,
Don't even get me started with new parking lots.
right. But it's you cannot. You
So
gotta be. You
expensive.
gotta
I know a guy that does asphalt if you want to talk to him. So.
and PAs.
Sure.
We'll get you an email address in the show notes.
I will do anything for money,
Yeah,
but I won't do that.
He does external line. Dang it.
From last month.
External line
Return.
Return. Thanks.
Yeah.
Dang it.
There's probably one of those in asphalt. Yeah.
Probably.
But no, you gotta start talking to them about this stuff. I think the other thing too is, you know, sometimes a pastor or a leader will go away and hear it a different way. And I think Justin, you've had some experience with this. Like, you need to help them understand. Like, if the way you're telling it to them, like maybe a very technical way,
Yeah.
you need to maybe break it down, make an analogy, find out how that leader maybe hears better.
Yeah.
Can receive it better, because that's the job of the communicators, to make sure that they receive the message.
So an example of that I have is the church that I used to work at. We had a pastor that was pretty fickle. You know, not a lot of people really liked working with him. You know,
There's churches never have any of those.
in our
Yeah, well.
in our graphics department was very much like the guy that was in charge of creating his graphics was like hated doing it, because he's like, they're boring, they're stupid, all these kind of things. And I was like, well, how are you doing this? Sorry, I'm like burping all of a sudden. Sorry. And
Freebie.
he's like, well, I just kind of, you know, I create like 7 or 8 different like rough drafts and then just say like, which one do you like? But he always picks the ones that I hate. And I was like, then stop giving him those options. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, don't give him 7 or 8 options. Come to him with, you know, be prepared with your 7 options, and come to him and go, here's the option that I really like. And have him go, yeah, I don't really like that one. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Here's the next one that I really like. Oh yeah, okay. I don't mind that one. Could we maybe change a couple things on this one? And I was like, you'll start to be able to create the graphics that you like to make, instead of giving him 7 options and knowing that he's going to pick one that you hate doing. Like, you're setting yourself up to hate what you're doing. And so the next week he came back and he was like, bro, that worked. And I was like,
There you go.
just don't give him the option of
Yeah.
picking it,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah. And I think that like what you're saying is like being able to like understand that. Like, I've seen so many people that are like, well, I don't know if we need I don't think we need an LED wall. And then they go to the Seeds conference, and then they come back and they're like, we need an LED wall.
Because they saw it maybe used in an appropriate way.
Right.
Yep.
They didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
Now they understand it.
They got to see
Or
it
they even
demonstrated.
just saw one. Like maybe you need to bring your leadership out and be like, hey, this is an LED wall. Hey, this is this PA. Hey, this is a subwoofer.
Yeah.
This is I like that one. Do you feel that? Do you feel that?
Yeah.
That's the subwoofer. That's what we need.
Yeah, we don't
We
have
actually
that.
say
We
that
don't
that's
have
the Spirit of God
That's,
moving in
yeah,
that
that's a
box.
Holy Spirit
Nobody-
amplification
nobody
box.
gets, nobody gets
and,
saved without bass.
That's right.
Hashtag crank that bass.
All about that bass. I think that it depends on the tone that's being used as well, right? Because there's the guy that doesn't want to listen, but then there's the guy that's just sick of hearing you complain.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're coming in all the time, you're like, oh, the system sucks. It's total garbage. It's crap. We need, you know, and I'm using some great words here, right? Sucks, crap, garbage. Like, and you're just like, yeah, you're berating, you know, either, I don't know if you do that to equipment, but you're just really just deprecative of everything around you and the situation and the stuff that you're in, and we need this and we need that, and well, these people have that, you know, so now all of a sudden it's kind of that envious guy talk, like, well, such and such a church has it and we need it too.
Yeah.
Everybody's heard that guy before, right? Yeah. Like, why don't we have it? Why don't we do it?
If Elevation can do it, why can't we do it?
Yeah.
Well, we have 35 people in our congregation.
Yeah, 30
and they have 35,000.
Right, yeah. There's a small
short.
margin here, but I think, you know, we could still
short.
pull it off. But I think, yeah, it's in the heart too. Like, what is your heart behind presenting
Yeah.
the need?
Yep.
And if you can present the need and the solution and how the solution lines up with the heart and the vision
Yep.
of the church,
Alignment.
yeah, I think that to me is the best way. And then to say, and if you'd like me to, I'll try to find a demonstration of this that I can show it to
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
It seems like it comes down to like to take it all down to like two things, because it's always two things with me. Is like communication and then community. Again, we're talking about, it kind of comes back to community. You need to, kind of like you said, like if you're trying to explain something to somebody and they don't understand you, that's your fault, not theirs to a certain extent, right? So you need to find
And
a
that's
way.
not to say that you can't be in that
No.
moment and go, okay, pause, hang on.
Hang on,
Okay,
yeah,
let
right.
me think about how I can make
My
this make more
therapist
sense.
just said that to me today. Like, maybe try doing that instead of just. Anyways, you guys don't get my therapy for free. I pay for it, so you can too.
There you go.
GoFundMe at the bottom.
But like, you need to like take a step back. Whatever, like you were just saying, if you're always coming at it as like complaining, find a way to reframe it. Bring it into, this is how it's going to impact our impact on the kingdom of God, or what, you know, like bring it in line with your church's values, but then also like, I think kind of tying back into how do you like either gain credibility for yourself, or how do you give outside knowledgeable people credibility? It's all about creating the relationship with the person that you need to work with. You need to like find a way to be on common ground, find a way to like work with each other.
And I would say for that, to be on the same page, you're going to have to look at yourself and go, okay, why is my pastor not trusting me? Why do I not have any sort of like authority in his mind? And that may be because you told him that he needed the $800 DPA mic, you know,
And that'll solve the feedback.
and it'll solve the feedback, and it made it worse.
Yep.
That one thing, or maybe that was the first thing, and then the next thing was, oh yeah, well, if we just buy another light and do this, it'll fix that problem for the video.
Yep.
And it didn't fix it, or it made it worse. You know, or you know,
Or it could be that
Look
you
for a new
don't
line
show
of
up on
work,
time
buddy.
on Sunday morning.
It's over for you.
yeah,
Or you're not prepared.
right. And and I think that's a good point, Jordan, because it's not always going to be tech related.
Yep.
Like you're consistently 20 minutes late every single time, and that drives me crazy, because if I'm not early, I'm late. And because that's how I feel as your leader, and you don't do it, that makes me not trust you. And that trust, because of that instance, is now trickling into all of the other trust aspects. And that may suck that that's the case, because that personally, that probably shouldn't affect that. But the reality is it does. And you have to understand that. And like for me and you, like when we were working, where people are like, well, good luck figuring out how so and so like communicates. And I'm like, well, but the thing is, like, everyone communicates in a specific way, and they repeat, well, yeah, that person always does blank. And I'm like, right, which means that you can figure out how they communicate because they always do that thing.
Yep.
They always
Creatures of
talk
habit, man.
Right. We all do it. You know, so yeah, I think, yeah, for me, my two things is it comes down to trust and vision. Mm-hmm. And that's been a theme that I've had on the YouTube channel for forever is cast vision so that it can line up with everything. Because again, and that comes from leadership too. How many churches don't cast vision? And then how am I supposed to align with you if I don't know what your vision is? Oh, go make disciples of all the nations. Well, yeah, but how are we going to do that? What is our version of doing that?
Well, just go do it.
What's the plan of attack? No, don't attack them. Make them into disciples. Oh, that's how the crusades
Marketing.
happen. Bad communication here, folks.
Right.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just like it takes another person saying, okay, well, because sometimes that's the pastor going to the conference and going, oh my gosh, like my guy's been saying this for 3 years, and now Lou Giglio's up here telling me I should do it.
And so really quick,
Sorry, I had to throw his name out.
It makes me giggle.
I'm so glad we have that on a drop now. No, but so that's even an interesting thing too. Is that I think that's also how you can leverage outside people.
Yeah.
Is if you know what they're going to say, bringing them into leadership, bringing them into that conversation, and then you're not saying it. Now you've got a professional saying it, or somebody else from the congregation, or whoever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb, how many times have you gone to a client and they're like, all right, so I've been trying to tell my leadership this and they just won't listen to me, but like it makes sense. And then I'm like, okay, cool. You're like, let's talk about this before we go talk to pastor. And it's like, yeah, I'm totally on board. I understand what you're saying. We definitely need to do that. And then I go and say, yeah, so, this, that, and the other thing. And then the pastor's like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And then they're all like, what? I'm like, well, why are you upset about this? This is the very reason you brought me in.
Exactly. Exactly. At the end of the day, you're
hate you.
You're getting that upgrade potentially, or what you need, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
You look like you might have more to say than that.
Here's what I was thinking is that every once in a while, the problem really isn't you.
Right.
And that's harder to I think understand, because you can sit there and beat yourself up all the time, or well, come on, what am I not doing? I'm not getting through to them. I'm not. But it might not be you. It might be that person. It could be the person, your predecessor. May have made a hard path for you to walk, and you can't.
Definitely.
You don't have this open line of communication because there has to be trust won back, not for you as a person, but for that position.
But for tech people in general.
For tech people in general. There you go. Yeah. For the tape.
For the brotherhood.
For cassette ministry.
Hasn't been around for 25 years, but we still have to recover from it.
Yeah, and that one's a little more tough, and maybe that takes but setting up that time to speak with that leader, and just kind of like, hey, always expressing that you come from a place of still serving that vision, and having a heart for being there and for to work with that leader. Because the last thing you want to do is set yourself in a place where you appear to be adverse to the leader, all the time. Because if the issue has been with that, it's just that issue is going to be perpetuated. It's just going to get worse. It's going to snowball. So then the next person come in and take your place. They're like, we need a tech guy, but we never trust our tech guys.
Yeah.
And
what would you suggest? Like if you came in behind someone who broke all the trust, they spent tons and tons of money, and pastor finds out that, oh my gosh, you're telling me we didn't need the Digico SD9 for our congregation of 45 people.
All right. So funny enough, I had this exact situation happen.
But okay, so you're now the tech person that comes in behind that person, because they realize this. And then there's obviously that head clashing.
Yeah.
how do you realize that, okay, this isn't because of me. I haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
At least, to deserve this. Now I have to go and correct this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you have that conversation?
Yeah. So I've been in this situation, and in a couple of different scenarios, but from like this like church tech side of things. I came into a situation where the tech had, they installed a lot of really expensive stuff, and that's great. So first I go in and I go to check it out. I'm like, wow, I get to work with this console and these speakers and everything. Can't wait to enjoy a service and see what their platform is like, what kind of worship they do and everything. And I'm looking up at these Apogee 7s and hearing the worship and going, wow, this isn't the right setup for this application. Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Oh, they have nope, that's not right either. Oh no. Everything was expensive. Okay. Everything cost a lot, but nothing was the correct thing for the space that they were in. This was a fan sanctuary, just to, everybody knows those, right? It's a big fan. Basically just take your square building and put the stage in the corner. And so I didn't want to go in and be that guy that was just like, all right, well,
That guy.
I didn't want to be that guy, right?
That other guy?
Yeah. And it was already put forward to me. So after this, I went down and I'm finishing out my interview, because this is before I even take the position.
Okay. Yeah.
And the person interviewing me did say, so the pastors already feel like they've been tricked into spending a lot of money. I was like, okay. Yep, I was already getting that, know. Like
I knew that when I walked into the
I knew
booth.
that when I walked in the door. I said, all right. So here's my plan. I'm going to do the absolute best that I can to make what we have work until it just won't work anymore, and we have to do something about it. But we'll put down in writing now that I do understand that this stuff really isn't what fits the bill. And so constantly just, like being a gaffer on a film set, just inventing ways of doing things and hooking things up differently and rerouting this, and then building our own subwoofers to compensate for the fact that they put in the wrong kind, and doing all the stuff that we could until it finally got to the point where it was like, okay, look, it's just, we've reached the end of it. And at that point, the pastors were like, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Because
We
you
gotta
were
change
able to
something.
share with them, hey, I've exhausted all these other no-cost, low-cost options.
Yeah. And we lasted a couple of years on that, which was longer than I kind of thought we were going to get out of it. I mean, we had drivers shoot out of boxes and things like that, but whatever. The funny thing is too, actually, the service that I went to visit, nothing was coming out of the mains. Everything was coming out of floor wedges. So when I went up there to guest mix for the second round of the interview, and I actually put stuff in the mains, oh man, they're like, yeah, hire this guy, hire him. It sounds so much better.
So this was in Jersey.
Yeah, so it was in Jersey. Obviously.
Hire this guy.
But I think that's interesting that you
Get
were
him
even...
a sandwich. Would you look at him? Jeez.
Oh man, God, I could use a sandwich right now.
So can I. Why are we talking about food again? I'm
I
so
know.
hungry.
We should just do food on this.
We should just.
We need a catering sponsor.
Isn't there something about breaking bread together that would? I mean, isn't that? I mean,
You just want to get a loaf of bread and eat?
oh, but it's got to be gluten free for me. Darn it.
And then wine too?
Off the rails. Off the rails.
No,
again.
but I think it's kind of interesting though that you even mentioned that that might even come out in the hiring process. So this is not like, hey, I'm finding this out in the first month or 2 or 6 months. You can even ask those questions like, hey, why is this vacant? What were some of the issues with the previous guy or gal? And
Yep.
yeah, so that's interesting.
When I met the integrators that put the system in, I just called them integrators. They were installers. The people that sold it and put it in, they weren't true integrators.
Wearing really
They
nice
were-
suits.
Yeah. When I met them, I wanted to slap them around at first because I was like, how isn't your job also to kind of help shape this type of thing and help, the
That only goes so
church to
far.
understand?
Yep.
Yeah, it is true. I do understand. Some people are like, no, I want that because it's more expensive, so it's better.
Yep.
But
That's what I saw Elevation do, so I have to have it.
I got to has it.
Yeah. I mean, to answer your question, Justin, what does that conversation look like? I don't even know if it's a conversation. I think you just got shown by action. And it's routinely and showing them how you operate and who you are, and then also probably just a lot of listening. Honestly,
Well,
for this
the reason why I
conversation.
ask, like, what's that conversation is because, like, I've been in situations where, like, the leadership doesn't even realize that they're, like, holding that grudge against you. And it's like, hey, listen, like, I've shown you repeatedly that, like, I'm not trying to do this. I'm not trying to do this.
Yeah.
You've hired me. You either need to trust me to do the job that I've done, or you need to, like, tell me that you don't trust me and I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And, like, have that conversation. And I've had that conversation, which is a little bit different, you know, because it's like I've been there for a long time, and some of the other people had, you know, pitched things like, oh, well, we want this. Okay, cool. Do we need it? Because we don't have tons of cash, you know, but we'll replace something or fix it if we need to. And it's like, well, we need it. But why? Because we need it. And then that comes across like you just want a new toy, you know?
Right.
And then it's like I come in behind that person and I'm like, oh no, this is broken. This is broken. You remember that thing that we had that problem with? Yeah, that's because this was broken. And I can replace this so this main thing works, but then this other small things won't work. Well, what's it going to cost to fix it all? Well, I didn't think we had the money to fix everything. Well, if it's going to, we want everything to function. It's like, well, it's going to cost this. And they're like, okay, well, let's just do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, like, explained the actual like reasonings.
I was around to watch that happen. I watched a lot of Jaws hit the floor when he just got the okay for it, for explaining it that way. And everybody be like,
We've been trying to do that for 3 years.
what?
But it was like a lot. It took a lot of explanation and a lot of legwork and a lot of like, you know, I came in with, hey, I want this. This is what I want. This is what I need. And like I came in expecting part of it, prepared to pitch the whole thing, you know, and then was able to go like, okay, well, this is what I need. I really need this because this is the important thing. The other thing, it would suck if we lose it, but we can deal without it. And then their response was, well, what is it going to take to do that? You know, now that you've explained this all, because we don't want to lose that either. Well, this is what it would do, and this is actually what it would do to the physical space. It's going to change it. It's going to make it look all different and that kind of stuff. And yeah, so I think having that conversation is going to be important because the last thing that I want is, you know, you get a lot of grumblers, you know.
Yep.
No, just never let me do anything. Just never let me do anything.
Yeah.
You know, and then they're, you know, like, that's not a joyful heart.
Yeah.
You know, that's not, you know, any of those, you know, fruits of the spirit, you know, is,
Yeah.
yeah, well, they get money all the time, you know, like, why do we need to pave the parking lot again for the 4th time in 6 years? You know, because I've also been a part of that
Oh,
too.
darn. We have 10,000 cars coming through here every weekend. It's just really, oh, gosh, I wish people just wouldn't come here and park on our parking lot.
Yeah.
If you got my live stream stuff, they wouldn't have to.
I know, right?
Nice.
There's a win-win here. Oh man.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to have us guess at that trivia question now.
Okay.
I gotta know.
You've been
so
Googling it?
go ahead, and you've been sitting here next to me. Have I Googled it?
No, you have.
Yeah, no.
Sean, do you know the answer?
Yeah. So
Any
let's state
guesses?
state the trivia question again, Jordan. What?
So the question is, why when like ducks are migrating and they're in a V, why is one side longer than the other?
I know because he told me.
Oh,
Is
Is this a joke?
I have a guess.
No, it's a trivia question.
To get to
I
the
was
other
thinking
side.
What's your guess?
My guess is that it has something to do with aerodynamics, and that like the longer side, those are the like they're switching in and out for rest periods basically, and the longer side is getting some kind of jet stream drag thing. Or it could be a directional. Like I don't. Yeah, no. I'm going to stick with my first one.
Well, because they do switch out that pole position, right? I mean,
P1,
I guess
yep.
if you know what I'm talking about in racing. So like, yeah, they're switching out that pole position, so they're, you know, the one up front is getting the brunt of everything, and so everybody else is kind of like every bird back has less wind resistance.
Yeah. Drag.
That's drag. Thank you. Yeah, they still have wind
As if I
resistance.
just said that.
So Feel Good Drag by Amberlin, I think is the
yeah.
answer.
The answers are way more complicated than all of that.
Yeah.
So the birds on the one side have more magnesium in their bills, and that causes them to wane
Okay, stop it.
in one. I don't know. You said it's more complicated, so I'm just trying to
I
throw
have,
everything
I
out
have
there.
one more guess. It's
right.
that they aren't real and they're all just
They're all robot birds.
drones.
They're just dragging they're just dragging like a decoy.
It's just Amazon's new delivery system.
or
They do weird
China's
things with them to
China's
keep
balloon.
the government does weird things with them just to make us, just to throw us off that they're not real. Because it's weird.
But then you make them imperfect, so it's like, oh well, that's not
right.
the government.
Right.
That would be
Right.
the government.
All right, Jordan.
So the reason that they're uneven on sides and like there's oftentimes they're just not like symmetrical because there's an extra bird in there. There's one more bird.
That's why.
That's why they're not even because there's one more bird.
That is a freaking joke.
It's because birds can't. It's because birds can't count.
I
Yeah.
can't even.
But
Seriously,
but,
1,
but,
3, 7. I can't.
but I
even.
think you were onto something with magnesium in the bill.
Yeah, you see, I'm pretty
That-
sure
that
that's
could
the
be it
real,
as well,
you know,
yeah.
yeah.
You guys can engineer this question. He's like drag aerodynamics.
Nope,
Just an extra bird.
I'm just
Extra
going
one.
through all of my like
There-
pilot
it's-
study
that's
course
got
stuff.
number
I'm
of
like,
birds.
we never talked about this.
Just got called out.
I think that's
Man.
awesome.
Well, before we wrap this up, I want to one more time go ahead and tap on that like button. Give that bell just a nice little tap on the head for me, so you get those notifications. Like us on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify's, all that good stuff. Spotify is one of my 80. Hey, you listen to our show on the Spotify's there? Hey. Hey. Anyways,
actually not a bad Bill
You
Cosby
guys
impression.
on the interwebs or what? I'm hip.
hello.
I'm on TikTok.
Hello,
had
fellow
4 hips.
kids.
I'm on Musically. I mean TikTok.
Hello, fellow kids. So let's go around the room real quick. I want to start with Justin. What is something you are happy about?
A little bit ago, I figured out how to control a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera from a regular A10. Zoom, focus. It's pretty sweet.
Those were good days.
Yeah,
It was a good day.
that's exciting.
My good news actually just came in.
Again, I made a video about it, and it's on the YouTube channel, so go watch it.
Oh, shameless plug. My good news just came in. My wife said we're out of coffee. I know that sounds terrible, but that means I get to pick up something good. She asked if I could pick it up on the way home from the studio.
You said,
Yes.
boy, can I.
Sure can.
You don't like the Folgers?
Man,
I want to
here
see
I come,
something
Folgers.
really
Oh,
gets
gosh.
me going.
The worst part of waking up. Folgers anywhere.
You know,
Folgers.
I think Rod Stewart wrote that jingle, by the way.
Oh, goodness. I should ask him. He's a cousin, right?
I think he did the
Was this like
Band-Aid.
a Kevin Bacon thing?
Part of waking up.
That's what they should have done though. Is like have other celebrities and other singers do that.
Yeah, like they
They
do
just
with
do their
the
own.
Nationwide is on your side. They do that all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
He did.
Her just did one. Ring, ring, dude, hitting it up on the.
That's what I'm saying. Like have like
acoustic
a
guitar.
bass player, electric player, like do like a metal version.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty neat.
That would wake you up.
Metal version. The best.
The best part of waking up is
Oh, man.
Folgers in your cup. Drink it, like it, love it.
I'm sorry. I'm
That
done.
that 80 hertz roll off is just killing it right now. So
Yeah.
happy for that.
So it is March, which officially kicks off like MotoGP and F1 season, which are kind of some of my big sports that I like to watch. So the season is here. Ignore that it's frozen and it's cold on the tracks, but the season there's no more long.
Have
no
you
more waiting.
have you seen any of the F1 2023 liveries yet?
Yeah,
seen any of the cars?
I dig the Mercedes.
Oh yeah, Mercedes.
Yeah,
Anybody?
the
You
black.
guys either? No.
I know a
Okay.
lot of
Oh,
people
I saw an
don't
article
like
on it,
the. We're gonna do our own little podcast here, the F1 podcast, really quick.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't like the carbon fiber raw. I don't mind.
Oh, I
it.
think it looks incredible.
So-
Mercedes went from like a all silver car to mostly bare black carbon fiber with like just basically logo stickers for all their sponsors.
I dig that.
it looks.
It
sounds
looks
cool.
amazing.
But then, like all the other teams, like Ferrari, gonna be a red one.
Yeah, Ferrari's red, but like everybody went
Red Bull,
Yeah,
gonna be a red one.
but everybody
Or
else
not a
went
red
like
one, but a
dark
blue one.
mode this year. Alfa Romeo, AlphaTauri, everybody went like super like dark greens, blues, whatever. It looks really great.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the season of F1. Something I'm happy about. I've been really into this app called Audio Hijack lately by Rogue Amoeba. I'll put a link in there. You just need to check out Rogue Amoeba in general. All of their apps, but I use Loopback and Audio Hijack heavily.
I love Loopback.
Yeah, Loopback's really great. Audio Hijack, I've been recording shows with that, and then also just like messing around with different plugins and how they affect audio without having to have a full DAW open, which is kind of cool. So that's that. Thank you for watching, for listening. This is Enhance Don't Distract.